Hello and welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, everyone. It's Dawn here, holding my mic with my trusted partner, Matt Pickett. How you doing this week, Maddie? What's new?
I'm pretty good. I'm having another one of those weekends coming up where I'm going to be just solo parenting because my wife is away in upstate New York at the Rhinebeck Sheep and Wool Festival. So a fun time for those who love the knitting, who love the textiles, who love the sheep, who love the fall colors. So we actually went twice when we still lived in New England, and so I'm kind of jealous, but she's up there with her sister who is also a big knitter, so that's cool. But it'll be a lot of just daddy and kid time, a lot of interesting logistics for the weekend. Excited about it. So yeah, got a fun weekend coming up. How about you, Dawn? How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm not in the hospital.
Hey, all right.
I had a deal with a lot of stuff yesterday in terms of my health again. But speaking of knitting, I'm wearing a sweater knit by my sister.
Oh, nice.
Hello. Yes.
Whom we love.
Nice
sweater.
I didn't do it. Yeah, I was going to wear. Yeah, good job, Lo. So, yeah, that sounds great. When you said sheep and wolf, I thought about my deer hounds and dogs, because like there's events where there's sheep herding by like shepherd dogs with my friend. Mm-hmm. One of my friend is really, really into that. She takes her dog to compete all the time. Actually, two of my friends go. And then I was thinking of wolfhounds. So my brain had to take a little twist there
to realize wool, not wolf, wool.
I was thinking you said wolves. I'm like, sheep and wolves? That sounds kind of Red Riding.
Oh, I see. Yeah, sheep and wool festival. So the wolf must have like alighted there by accident. So.
Anywho, so that's great. That sounds really fun. I would like to go. I don't knit. I'm very into textiles. My first job was a textile designer for a knitwear company. So, so I loved that and have great respect for all of the textile arts and crafts and whatnots. So, I remember last week I said I got a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as concussions work, I kind of forgot that I got the concussion. And so I was like, why am I so dizzy? And I had this stupid rash that I couldn't get rid of because I have a lot of allergies. And once I get it, they start spreading. So I went on those steroids and I was exhausted. And so I was like, week 2, and I don't feel good. So yesterday I thought I better call the doctor and just like, do I need more serum? Whatever. It was an innocuous call. Okay. That wasn't a big deal. I just wanted my rash to go away. And they're like listening to me. And because of my history of other things, they are very careful with me. Let's just put it that way. So they sent me right away. Like within a half hour, I was having a chest x-ray and lab work. And they said, if this particular lab result is high, you need to go immediately to the hospital. And it was already too late to call my hematologist. It was too late. My doctors were gone. It was like 6 o'clock. It wasn't late, but it was like 6. And so bottom line, I spent all of last night. I was so tired in the ER getting all kinds of scans and stuff. And everything was negative except for the blood work. So we got to figure out what that is. But I'm like, but what about my rash? Nobody sent me my stuff for my rash, you guys. Because that's what I call them out. So I'm just a little exhausted and itchy. Otherwise, I'm good. Wearing my new sweater. It's always, it's so scary. It's not really scary. I think it's scary for the doctors. And then I have a healthy respect for what I need to do in certain circumstances with my health situations. And I know because I've been living with this for a long time. I'm not alarmist. I don't get scared. I more than anything get kind of annoyed that I have to be watched so carefully. It's like, oh, I don't want to go to the hospital. I didn't want to go to the ER. Nobody wants to go to the ER. And then they're like, no, you need to pack a bag. And it's like, I hadn't played with my cat all day. So all I cared about was coming home and playing with my cat. So anyway, I like simple things in life. Keep it simple. I'm excited about our show this week and next week. Tell us who's on our show next week, Maddie.
Ooh, yeah. For those who are here tonight, you got a good one. But next week would be even better. So make sure to come back then because we got Mike Spofford from Packers.com, the senior, I don't know what his title is, senior writer, senior content developer, senior digital something. I don't know. But he's the guy who's been writing for them the longest and is an awesome, awesome writer, reporter, good dude on top of all that. So
yes,
really excited to talk to Mike Spofford next week.
Oh, I love that. I'm so excited too. I had to double check, and I get our guests because our guests book out almost like for the whole year. It's kind of hard to keep track of all of our wonderful guests. We're so lucky to have great guests. And I'm also looking forward because I named our episode today Bye 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 Week. Bye bye.
It is bye 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 week. Bye bye bye.
Bye bye. I know I didn't say it right. Bye 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 week. But also bye 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 because of that song, baby. Bye 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 bye. Anyway, because it's the earliest bye I ever remember living through, and it just seems like we're in a drought. And I'm really hopeful that things got worked out. During the bye week.
Health-wise? You mean like health-wise?
Health and coaching and playing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
coaching, playing, and health. Just everything regarding the football game.
Just everything.
So
hopefully their food is good. Hopefully everyone's got good parking spots.
And hopefully of all teams, especially on me, because I have not let Sean, what's his name, have a minute of peace this week. Coach Sean. So we have to win. The Broncos coach. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot for a second that Sean Payton was there. That's right. Such a loudmouth. Such a loudmouth, that guy.
Oh my gosh. He really just. That's all I'm going to say. He really just. I'm excited for next week because Katie, Packer fan extraordinaire and good friend of the show and us individually and together and all that. She and I have been looking forward to this trial that's starting on Monday. So glad I'm home for it. I ordered a popcorn popper and like 3 packs. It's gonna be like 3 weeks. I've got champagne in the refrigerator because we're waiting for another arrest. And if we get that another arrest, any one of the 3 co-conspirators, 2 named already, any one of them, I'm going to break open that champagne.
Wow.
Online, live, and then all the popcorn I can eat for 3 weeks. I bought 3 whole bags of gourmet popcorn and a popper. That's all I'm going to eat. I can't.
That's outstanding. That's getting that you're going to be living like every reaction gif of a person grabbing the bucket of popcorn and like getting ready for a thing. That's going to be you.
Oh God. It's me, and all of my like 500 friends on YouTube who will be there with me, holding hands, hoping for the best, and
outstanding,
hoping for justice, hoping for the truth to come out. But yeah, so we're gearing up for that, and yeah, it's a good week. Tasha's good, I'm good. I'm not in the hospital. I was like, oh my gosh, if I have to tell Matt I'm going to stream from the hospital, he's going to die.
If you made it work from the hospital, that'd be amazing. That'd be something.
Yeah. So basically, they thought I've had blood clots in my lungs and that can kill you. It's highly fatal. And they thought I had that again. And when you have that, you basically, like the last time I had those, I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. Yeah. Because they have to give you stuff that makes you bleed more, basically. It makes your platelets more slippery and you can bleed to death. in order to get rid of the clot to move it through, and they have to monitor you the whole time. So you can't just like go home and take these things. Yeah. So that's the problem. I was like reliving my first experience with that and being like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my cat? How, but I was okay. I mean, I don't feel great, but I could have done this. I could have sat like in my hospital bed and done a podcast. Anyway, yeah, so it's good. So what kind of like little extra plans do you have with the kiddos this weekend? Anything special?
Yeah, a little bit of stuff. There's some things that are already planned ahead of time, regardless of the fact that my wife is going to be gone, which is to say that one of my wife's sisters, she has many sisters, is having a deck party. They just got a new deck on the back of their house. So we're going to go over there tomorrow. We'll be in Indianapolis for that. And also on Sunday.
Oh, Maddie's cutting out a little bit. Maddie, are you there? Oh, Maddie.
So yeah, and also there are certain like carry out foods that my wife does not like, and so we get to have those while she's on. So I'll bring some stuff.
I love it. We had a little delay there. I thought you froze up, but great. That sounds wonderful. A deck party sounds really fun. I'm going to have a catio party when I get the catio done. The new catio, the third catio. Okay. Iowa Joe says, just got here. Dawn's trying to eat her cat again. No.
Oh, no.
Dawn's cat trying to eat her again.
The opposite. Oh, Tosh heard that. Now Tosh is going to go on the the warpath. Going to send you Dawn. Yeah, Joe, always.
Where is she?
Oh,
no.
Not again. Always.
Poor little kitty.
Dawn eating her.
Poor little kitty. Being slandered. Or libel. What is it? Libel is writing and slander is verbal.
You'd have to ask Paul Noonan. He's the lawyer. So I don't remember how that works though. I know that he's had to explain it to Matub to avoid all of these things. No, I can't remember what the difference is personally, so I have to look it up.
I think slander is verbal and libel is written, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it.
So
sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, Let's go. I've got some superlatives. Do you have some superlatives?
Of course. Gosh, yes, I do.
All right, let's do like back and forth volleyball thingy. Okay, I'll go first.
That was good.
Okay, let me look. Where's my superlative?
Well, you're getting it. Joe also contributes that slander is spoken and libel is written, which I believe is what you said, right? That was your
correct.
So thank you for the confirmation, Joe. Appreciate you, man. All right, you ready?
Great minds. Great reminder. My first superlative is great reminder. I didn't say greatest or greater. I just said great. But here's why. I'm kind of trying to get back to our roots and taking a fresh look at what kind of content I'm bringing into my brain and what kind of content I'm sharing here. And I want to make sure that I share at least one thing I learned every week in our superlatives. And the reason is I'm still learning a lot. For those who are new to this show, you might not know that I really haven't been loving or watching football my whole life. I'm kind of relatively new to it. And so I'm really excited about learning new things. And you can too, if you want. So it's not that hard, especially when you have folks like Dusty Evely. And I know we talk about Dusty a lot, but one of the reasons we talk about Dusty a lot is, well, everything he does is great. Okay, everything. But one of the things he does on YouTube is he has Dusty's Packers film room. And so he will show you kind of the X's and O's, kind of like the quarterback school will and other content creators, but only in a way that Dusty can do it. And it's so good. So this week, within the content that he was sharing and the plays and whatnot. And by the way, this week's episode or last week, I should say, was Strike and the Unseen Terror 2023 regarding Jordan Love's interceptions. So, but one of the things within all of the learning that I was doing by consuming that particular content, which of course we're going to be sharing with you in the show notes. So just take a look and you can click right onto those. Was he reminded his audience that studies have shown how the game is really played differently now than it was in the past. And in terms of how defenses are working to take away the middle and of the field more these days, which is really, to me, so unfortunate because we finally have a quarterback who will throw into the middle of the field. And it's like everybody, all the teams are so good at taking that away. So it's interesting. But what was funny is I had noticed that a few days ago when I watched his YouTube video. And then I heard that theme repeated in certain variations throughout almost every podcast I listened to. So I was like, this must be important. And why am I hearing it this week? And maybe I missed it other week. I mean, I know I've heard it before, but not like I had in the past. Why do you think that is, Maddie?
It's in the air. You know, people are seeing like this is a thing that is happening and trying to explain, you know, why we were able to do so little on offense the last couple of weeks. People are saying, oh, they're taking away the middle of the field. They're seeing what Jordan Love does well and just, you know, taking it away. So I think a lot of people are seeing this and they're talking about it. And it's just kind of, yeah, like I said, it's in the air right now. It's
so sad because for Packers fan, at least for Jordan Love's fans and Packers fans, I was just personally, I won't speak for anyone else. I was personally just giddy about him throwing into the middle of the field because we really missed that. It's like we had a quarterback who was afraid of that. So, and hello to Aaron Ellis. Hi.
Oh, Aaron.
So, yeah. So it's that Aaron person. Yes, it is. Be nice. Be nice, chatters. So that was my first one. Great reminder what I learned, and I loved the title too. So that was and it will continue in the other content that I shared this week.
Interesting. So there's a thread you're saying that's going to develop as we go here.
Somewhat-ish.
Threadish.
Threadish. I don't want the expectations to be too high for anything I do this week.
All right, well, should I do my first one then, Dawn?
Yes, please.
All right, my first of three is Best Point. This is going to our friend Greg Meinholz, who wrote an article called It's Time for Matt LaFleur to Stop Being Hypothetical. So I like this one a lot because Greg's premise here is that all too often, like Matt LaFleur will develop like a game script and like an approach. And if somebody's out all of a sudden, like if Aaron Jones is like unexpectedly out, or if, you know, Aaron Rodgers gets COVID or whatever, like it seems like Matt LaFleur isn't adjusting to the reality of what's actually happening and just trying to do like as though a certain set of circumstances were in place. He went into some detail about it and I was like, I didn't think of it that way. And I think that's true. I think that's what he's doing. So we had Greg on last season. He was a fantastic interview. He's a really, really talented writer. And he wrote this one for the website that we call, I'm looking for it. He wrote for PackersTalk.com. I started saying there. He wrote for PackersTalk.com, which, by the way, is also, you know, where you can find the Cheesehead Radio podcast that I talked about a couple of times this season already. So, yeah, really a solid website. You know, I think is not people don't talk about it nearly enough. And yeah, good article from Greg. Really solid.
Yay. So is he being hypothetical because that's just what he says for the press conferences, or is he really?
No, I mean, it's like it's a way to describe it's a way to describe like the approach he's taking. It's kind of like, you know, Greg's observation of like
it's his thinking.
What is he thinking? Yeah, like this must be kind of the way that he is thinking. He calls it coaching hypothetically, is what Greg calls it. So
yeah, doesn't sound like a good idea just in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Because,
kind of one of the closing thoughts he has in the article is just that LaFleur should coach the team that he has. You know, don't try to like make guys do things that they're not good at. Like coach to their plan to their strengths. It's a good article.
For sure.
Yeah, good work, Greg.
For sure, he should, and I hope he does. I'm hoping. Yeah, you can't do anything in real life hypothetically.
Right.
That kind of thinking is not going to get you super far unless you're in some kind of field of philosophy. which most of us aren't, or book or writing,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, because if it's real, you got to be real,
Mm-hmm. You gotta be
especially
honest.
in
You gotta,
sports,
yeah.
sports. Yeah. So yeah, I like that. I like that. I will definitely read that.
What do you
Okay.
got for your next one, Don?
My next one is The Fondest Farewell.
Mm.
And that kind of ties into the title of this show, Bye 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 Week. So this was the post bye week father and sons Packers podcast.
Love that show.
I know it was so good. And a lot of times I'm taking in so much content. I'm starting to I have a new outline of how I'm looking at things. So I'm not just,
Okay.
so it doesn't all just mull together in one big wine glass at the end of the week. Like who said what? And
Uh-huh.
speaking of hypothetical,
Speaking of wine glasses.
Tommy and his dad, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
just chatting about the Green Bay Packers. We've talked about them before on this show with an emphasis on using data to see what is really going on within the team, which is great for the bye week. That was great. Like that's their theme of their podcast, what they do. They talked about the roster moves with James Robinson, Anthony Johnson, and then Patrick Taylor, which was kind of weird. I mean, running back, okay. I'm still worried a little about our O-line, but then after listening to their podcast, I'm not as worried about our O-line as I was. So in this case, they were using stats and numbers to evaluate how the first 6 games for the Packers, was it 6 games or 5 games?
5 games. 6 weeks. 5 games.
6 weeks, yeah. First 5 games for the Packers are faring, and how is Jordan Love doing in reaching the quote, and this is me quoting other people, and this is my statement here, not theirs. Okay, quote, me quoting other people en masse on Twitter, Packers Twitter. He only has to be as good as Rodgers was last season, benchmark, albeit induced by Packers Twitter and a broken thumb or whatever he had broken or done to himself. So, how is he doing? And after listening to the show and hearing their statistics in comparison with basically the other teams, not one team or another, but just all the other teams and where they're lying on certain things, I felt a little better about things. And so I think it's worth a listen. And so bye, good riddance to the first 5 weeks, although there were 2 okay-ish games. I just mostly want to say bye, good riddance to the Falcons, because we should have had that one for sure. And then the last game where everybody just played horribly. Yeah. Goodbye. For that. That's a horrible way to end, leave your fans though for 2 weeks without any games.
That's the thing, right? Because if it's one loss and then the next week you get another, game, and especially if they win, you kind of forget about that. But we've had this bad taste in our mouths from 2 losses in a row, kind of hanging around for 2 weeks. So good.
Yeah, the knives are definitely out for Coach LaFleur and others. So yeah. So anyway, great listen. We'll have that link for you too. And I felt a little bit better. I felt, it wasn't Pollyanna. I mean, it was cold hard facts, right? Because they use statistics and numbers, so you can't lie about those things. But it was just a little bit more, okay, balanced for me. And as far as how he's doing, he's not really doing that well, even compared to Rodgers last year, at least up until game 5. But guess what? That's only 5 games. And he didn't start. Well, he started one other game. He hardly had any preseason. So they didn't say that, but I'm saying it to myself. Like, hey, we still have a long way. We don't really have to be grading him just yet, I don't think.
But with that extra week off, how do we not? Gotta
right.
something.
That's what we're here for. When I say on my true crime podcast, is we're here to speculate. That's what we do. We don't know anything. That's what we do. So it's, there's nothing wrong with it either. But yeah, I don't even want to say it. I'm not going to say it about next week's game.
Don't even say it. Don't even. Nope. Don't put the label out there. Nope. Instead, I'll say that. That's the thing that I really value about that particular podcast, but the Father Son Packers podcast, is that as both of us as people who consume a lot of podcasts throughout the week, like we hear a lot of bad takes, and these guys, their takes are just totally. These are statistics that you can draw out of this stuff. Here's what you can kind of glean from it, but it's particularly like bad take free zone for the most part.
Yeah, and even statistics, you can only draw so much from those too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So what else do you have?
Yeah, all right. So my second one tonight, what I've got is best written analysis. This is from our friend Jacob Westendorf. He wrote an article called 3 Biggest Needs for Green Bay Packers in 2024. And so, there's a lot of people trying to assess what are our needs for this season, or maybe next season, maybe looking ahead. But the fact is Jacob looked entirely to the next season based on how things have been going this season. But what I really liked about it, especially, other than the fact that Jacob's a great writer, is that for each of the 3 areas that he had, he also mentioned a free agent and a potential draft, a player in the draft, a draft target who could help to address that. So really like that it had a variety of information there. It was very, very, it was full of vitamins and nutrients. It was very nutritious, a lot of good info there to kind of go with. So awesome work from Jacob.
I like that. Jacob is great. And I did see one person put forward their draft picks already for next year. It was the first one. I don't know, why not? Again, as you say, it's bye week. What can we do but draft for the following year as fans? Why not? All right. I'll take a look at that one too, and I'm sure our audience will love that one by Jacob. Okay, here's a fun one. Most superlative laden podcast.
Ooh, what's this?
Yeah, so this goes to, here's the title of the podcast. The Denver Broncos and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad defense. So this is Sarah and Dusty from Pack-A-Day on Wednesday. Sarah and Dusty get us ready for the next test of our young Packers QB/and team against a really bad team. Sorry, Sean. The Denver Broncos, coached by, never mind. It's a must-win game for a bunch of reasons. And I really felt this. It's a must-win. If we lose this one, that's it. That is it for the year. I mean, it's not it. I'm not going to not watch, but it's if we lose to the Broncos. Anyway. Or at least, how should I say it? I won't say lose, because they could suddenly become better, right? If we embarrass ourselves, if we play like we did last week, the week before the bye. Okay, I'm going to just alter that a little bit. So we'll see if Jordan Love gets his legs back under him, or will our run game show up and save the first game of the rest of the 2023 season. So, and again, those are my words, my summary. They do a really great job articulating all of those topics. But I will say that the take from Sarah and Dusty is, the Packers do have to win this game. I mean, come on. Oh, and you had a great question on that too. Maybe you should tell us, what was your question? Do you remember? Because I was trying to remember. I remember the burger, not the burger question, the other one.
Yeah, no, I remember okay, so the GIF that Dusty had used to call for questions, because he usually uses a GIF with the tweet for that, was from a sketch from I Think You Should Leave. It's a sketch where a professor meets up with some of his old students. They're having dinner, and he keeps trying to take this cheeseburger from one of the people who ordered it. And first of all, he's kind of joking he's going to do it, but in a really weird, awkward way. Then finally he's just give me a bite. Takes a bite. And he's I'm going to eat your entire cheeseburger. Eats the whole thing. And everyone at the table is appalled at this behavior. That's not okay. But if you know the sketch, the way it ends, it doesn't end necessarily PG. So I'll just say that check out the sketch, and that relates to the questions that I asked on the Wednesday Pack-A-Day. There's 2 questions. One was have any of the players in your estimation? Or, wait, how's the wording's important here. Did any of the players go down in your estimation in this season already? That's the first question. Second question is, what's the best cheeseburger you've ever had? Because it's a cheeseburger sketch.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
that's the question.
Oh, go down in expectation.
In your estimation.
Got
yes, like
in
go
your
down.
go down, right.
In your estimation.
Okay, so who did they say? Any?
I can't remember.
I just listened to it. There's my memory.
Quickly here, Don. I noticed that and Aaron's noticed this too. That it looks like my mic is echoing. I checked my echo cancellation. It's on. Is yours on?
I didn't hear you. I don't hear you echoing, but I hear you some like cutting in and out a little bit. Yes, my echolation is on. Yes. Okay. New word. Oh, sorry guys. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, appreciate that. I thought it was going crazy too. I'm gonna see if I can do anything with that. So keep talking, Don.
Okay. I'm going to turn my volume down a little just to make sure. It says there's not an echo when I'm speaking. So it's when Matt's speaking and it's coming from. That's so
could be the audio from your computer echoing.
All right. Yeah. So that was it. So what is your next?
All right. Hey, you fixed it, right?
So mine was the most superlative lady podcast, the fondest farewell, and the great reminder from Dusty. And your final superlative is?
Yeah. Before I say, just thanks, Aaron and Joe. Thanks for helping us check that out because it was really starting to bug me. So thank you very much, guys. All right, my last one, best interview. Oh my God, Don, this was so awesome. Okay. So I don't mean to be like self-promotion-y here. I'm just the producer on Lombardi's Bar. I'm not like the on-screen talent. I'm just there to like press buttons. Okay. So I'm not trying to be like, I'm so cool at all. Not at all. Rather, last night on Lombardi's Bar, we had Mike Daniels on and, of course, former Packer. And it was so good because he came like just with fire to talk about how like disappointed he's been in the Packers defense for years, basically. And because, Mike Daniels, one of the things about him is that he is kind of a crazy, he's got like the crazy personality when he's out there playing, and so he was bemoaning the fact that that's just doesn't seem to be like the mindset of the defense, and that they need to have that to be more successful. But I feel like even trying to summarize it, like it does not at all do it justice, because like people in the comments and the guys on screen are talking, of course, Todd Varney, Dan Kotnick, and Jimmy Christensen. We were all kind of in the chat and stuff, like saying like, oh my God, I'm ready to like run through a wall here. Like, this is crazy. It was so good. And there was a moment that this happened.
Matt Pickett, there you go. Because
that's right. Matt Pickett, there you go, said Mike Daniels. So that was pretty awesome. It was a really amazing interview. Y'all got to check it out. It'll get you ready to like I said, run through a brick wall. It's good.
I love it. Nice mensch.
And he is a mensch, for that matter.
Yeah, a nice mensch from a mensch.
A nice mensch from a mensch. There you go. There it is. All right, no one's going to top that.
I love it. Well, Aaron said that by my turning my volume down, so I don't hear you as well, but I can hear you if I really, really listen. That fixed the echo.
Headphones, Don.
But you did freeze. You did freeze a couple times too, so I thought that's what they meant. So that's good. That's good to know. Okay, and Aaron says, "Be self-promotion-y. You are so cool."
You're cool, Aaron.
You're cool, Aaron. We love you. Aaron, go. Okay.
Okay.
Pappy and Aaron in the same chat. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Okay. So, all right. Well, so hey, I love those superlatives. I hope our audience does. Matt, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap it up tonight?
Final thoughts. I should have thought ahead, Don. I don't, but I guess I just want to say that, we always knew this was going to be a difficult season as fans. And, of course, we always hoped that we'd see growth throughout the season. And it kind of seems like it got worse over those last two games. But like you were saying kind of before, Don, it's a small sample size, a whole lot of season left. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, the best team out there, you know, could take a nosedive. The worst team could suddenly find itself on the ascent. I mean, heck, that was the Lions last season. They started off like losing. I don't remember the number, but like a bunch of the games, like most of them. Then all of a sudden, like picked it up and started like winning like crazy. Like you just don't know what's going to happen even this far into the season. So, for those of you who want to go and spew your anger all over Twitter, well, it's designed for that. Go ahead, but just
go ahead.
Perspective, people. So
are you saying that we could be like the Lions?
Who knows? I'm just there's no way to know. I mean, and that's like injuries and the bad or good luck that could happen as a result of that, for that matter. And thank you, Pappy. Pretty good hair day today. Appreciate it. So yeah, just I'm trying to say is like, you know, to put the negativity aside, man. Good vibes. This is just an interesting season, and it's okay if we don't even make the playoffs, because no one thinks we, you know, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year anyhow. And if we don't make the playoffs, we have a better draft pick anyhow. So just
there you go. There you go. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm just living for the, oh, sorry, Don, just one last real fast thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just living for the moments. I'm just living for the, you know, the amazing comeback at the end of the Saints game. You know, I'm living for those really great, you know, throws, great catches, great interceptions. You know, I'm just living for those moments right now. So we're getting those, and that's the fun stuff.
It's the fun stuff, and you know, and just I was thinking about. I mean, what a memory that will stay with me the rest of my life. That game,
that awesome.
was, but don't forget, we sat there for 3 quarters, looking at each other in silence, like just making faces, like, what's happening here? Oh my God, are we going to at least get a field goal on our first home opener game? But yeah, so it could be like that. And you know, something Erin said here in her great wisdom, because we know she's quite wise, about being self-promotion-y. And we've got Packers Twitter, and there's also true crime Twitter, as it were. And I said something completely, what I thought was completely innocuous on a video on YouTube yesterday. We were on one person's channel, and somebody else said this other channel is great and blah blah blah. And I'm very fond of that other channel too. In fact, I've mentioned it more than once on this show. And I've been watching him since he had like 50 followers, and now he's got like 250,000. So I said he's really good at promoting his show, self-promotion. And I think I got like all this innuendo, like that was, I don't think they understood. That was a compliment. That was a compliment from a marketing standpoint. I didn't say anything because I was just like, the whole point was we shouldn't be really talking about that so much. Like it doesn't matter. You can like or not like it. Anyway, it was just so weird. But being self-promoting, self-promotion-y, I like that word, is something that's hard for people from Wisconsin, I believe.
Yep.
It's very hard for me.
Broadly, yep.
And I admire when people can do that, and also do it because they have great content, or they're great, or they have something to offer that, and everybody has something to offer that somebody else doesn't. So that was a good little tidbit to remind all of us that there's nothing wrong with promoting ourselves a little bit. But you don't want to be obnoxious, of course. But yeah, when you're from Wisconsin, it's very hard. It's very hard. So I had a final thought. Okay, what's my final thought? John, what's your final thought?
Don.
Yeah, as regards the next game, yeah, I'm the same way, in the moment kind of person. I forget everything, once I'm through it. It's like on to the next. And I think after the last 2 games, I'm a little less likely to say, well, we have to win this, because if we don't, I'm still going to be a fan. I'm still going to enjoy the game. I'm still going to enjoy the anticipation and the wait and the back and forth, at least as long as it's not 4 quarters of just but I'll still watch it, and I'll still hope, and I'll still enjoy it, you know. So yeah, I think my final thought is, just enjoy the moment. I'm excited about the next game, and all the rest to come, regardless of what happens. It's going to be fun. And Matt says, Pappy says, I'm promoting Matt's hair for president.
I'll tell you what, the platform on another episode that my hair is running on. So yeah.
There you go. So
I appreciate your vote.
And he asks if you're drinking Red Bull or...
Nope. I'm just always like this. It's just water.
Yeah.
Red Bull or similar.
Yeah, that's how we roll, Pappy, over here. We're pretty high energy folkies. All right, Maddie, let's bring her home.
Yes, friends, of course, you'll find links in our show description for everyone we mentioned. So please check it out. Also, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right. Because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you next week on
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.